Hello, and welcome to the so far nameless new live stream for Commonway. Um, I think a new time, a new day, and a new content format needs a new name. I haven't come up with one yet, and I'm hoping that somebody out there will do so. Um, Thank you for coming. In case you haven't figured this out yet, I'm Sharif Abdullah, and I'm looking forward to introducing some new concepts and a new way of doing those concepts. But before we get launched into any of that, one of the things that just about everyone has said that they appreciate from the old live stream, old, like 2 months old, um, that what they appreciated from the old live stream was the 5 minute meditation we did in the beginning. So we are going to reinstate that. And the way that we're going to do that is for me to push the magic button on my timer so that we don't get lost in meditation land for 20 or 30 minutes, which would not be a bad thing to do. So I invite you to settle yourself, square yourself, sit up straight if you can, close your eyes if you want. Um, Take a deep breath, let it out. Take another deep breath, let that out. Feel your body go calm. Your body is fully relaxed, especially all your core muscles. You feel your core relax. And as you are ready, you can come back to your center and come back to our center, and let's go ahead and get started. So I want to, again, welcome you, and also welcome the people who cannot come live because of the time frame we're in, but will definitely be joining when when they wake up, or after they go to sleep, or when they finish their work, or whatever. I want to do something. We saw something new, that the countdown clock that I had in the beginning. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. And if you liked it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. But right now, I want to have something that I think may be again, a regular feature of the live stream. And before we get started with the whatever the theme of the day is, I want to read something to you from Practicing Wisdom. One of the things that I want to do is, and this is for me and for all of us, to incorporate all of the pieces of Commonway that are out there. And so I want to give some want us to give some thought to what's coming up in our for me, for us, for in Practicing Wisdom. And so I want to read a passage from that. Starting at the bottom, the Buddha said, "It is better to conquer yourself than to win 1,000 battles. When the victory is yours. It cannot be taken away from you, not by angels or by demons, heaven or hell." David Campbell said, "Discipline is remembering what you want." George Washington said, "Discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small numbers formidable, procures success to the weak, and esteem to all." And Martin Luther King Jr. said, "The hope of a secure and livable world lies with disciplined nonconformists who are dedicated to peace, justice, peace, and brotherhood." Well, great words. The idea behind the book Practicing Wisdom is, how do you actually practice that? And I had something that I said in the discussion part of this particular passage. We've had an absolutely miraculous 3-decade head start on the mega crises that now loom over us. We had 30 years to switch to renewable energy, to rid ourselves of debt, personal and national, to start growing our own food, to switch our investments in banking. We had 30 years to disconnect from breaker society. If I can sum up the various excuses I've heard over the years, it comes down to this: I'm busy. Busy doing what? You'll answer that question when things get more acute. And so, for those of us who are busy plotting the course of a new society, we are thinking differently, and because of that, we will be in an excellent position for us to move into the leadership, the servant leadership of a new society. Many of you know that we just had our mid-October workshops that were successful, and that we were able to look at a number of different concepts. One of those concepts I want to share with you tonight. Um, I This is from the book "Birthing the Nation of Gaia," and the and the activities that are starting to creep out of that concept. Basically, the question is, what happens on the 21st of March, 2024, a few months from now? What's going to happen? Well, I have a very clear answer for that. And the clear answer is, I don't know. I hope you like that one. We get to figure that out together, and we get to figure that out in the context of all of the other things that are happening in our society at that time. And so, but if you would like to have a little bit clearer answer to that, let's take a look at what happened on July the 4th, 1776, where a group of men from around the colonies came together in something they called the Continental Congress. So 56 white, middle class, and rich men got together in this little room, well, actually a good sized room in Independence Hall in Philadelphia. And they wrote a document that inspired not only this country, but also inspired revolutionaries literally around the world. And we all have memorized the words in that document. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. You've got rights that nobody can take away. They weren't given to you by a society. They were given to you by your creator, however you see that creator. And among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. We act like we forget that. But when we hear it, it rings a bell somewhere in our being, like, oh yeah, this country was founded on principles. As Abraham Lincoln said, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Lots and lots of us forgot that part. In fact, the people who wrote the document didn't recognize the profundity of what they were writing. And so, if our if 56 men could get together in a room and come up with something that reverberates through the centuries, if by putting their names onto a document, they could, first of all, avoid getting killed by King George. Second, get inspire their fellow citizens to work in such a way that they would be they would literally be free but also philosophically, psychologically, maybe even spiritually freed, with giving hope to those who have not had hope. If they could do that on parchment paper, maybe, just maybe, we can do something better. So the question is, what are you going to be doing in March of 2024? Let me give you a suggestion about how to answer that question. Um, I've called the title to my book Birthing the Nation of Gaia. And one of the things I see us doing in March of 2024 is coming up with a declaration. A declaration of what? Good question. We obviously don't need a Declaration of Independence. We are already as independent politically and economically, no matter where we're living, in whatever society we're living in, whatever conditions we're living in. We're independent enough to kill the planet. We're independent enough of each other to war on each other. We're independent enough to not care about our neighbors. What we need is not a declaration of independence. We need a declaration of our common unity, and that unity that extends all the way through all of life. Instead of making the assumption that life belongs to us in some way, and we get to use all the resources on our planet for our benefit and even for our entertainment. You remember how the buffaloes died. They said that when at the peak of the buffalo herds in the central part of the United States, you could hear them running miles and miles away because sounded like thunder. You could look at the hills; the entire hills would be covered with moving brown, and breakers would literally shoot them like target practice, would shoot them from the moving trains just to see them fall. Now, that was immoral. We don't do things like that anymore. When we shoot something and we destroy it, we want money for it. And so as we're decimating the rainforest, our lungs, where we get oxygen to breathe, to turn those trees into pulp for our telephone books, to the telephone books that no one ever uses, to turn it into land to grow soybeans, as though we can breathe soybeans, to destroy what we don't understand. So somewhere in a part of the forest, there's a cure for a certain kind of cancer, and we're just going to destroy it because we need more soybeans. So our challenge is, how do we become the true servants of, first of all, ourselves and our higher purpose? Second of all, our communities. Third, our region, where we live. I guess this is a sign of old age. I'm thinking of a book and a title, and it's not coming to me right now. But this is our primary allegiance is not to the fiction of a nation state. This is a fiction. It's a fiction we all buy into. Whether you like it or not, you're buying into it. As soon as you start ignoring it, you stop buying into it, and it goes away. Uh, let me say that last piece that I said was from Václav Havel in his book, um, either The Power of the Powerless or his book Living in Truth. He was saying, as a dissident, instead of fighting the Soviet Union, we should ignore them. And we should be focused on our vision so tightly, we basically forget about the Soviet Union. And he says in the book, I don't know what will happen if we do that, but I think we should do that. Well, history tells us what happened. When you focus on your freedom, and you focus on the vision of a free society so intently, you get it. You become the president of the country. The Soviet Union not only leaves your country, it dissolves completely. Now, soon as we get a group of people to start focusing on the vision of what the nation of Gaia is and what the nation of Gaia looks like, we get to see some things in a very, very different way. We get, those of us who are on this live stream now, those of us who were in the workshops this past couple of days, those of us who are reading the books and talking with each other about, can we grow food? Can we grow a consensus on how we live with each other? That once you get to that, all of this other stuff goes away. It disappears. I'm not talking, mystical anything. The Soviet Union disappeared. It doesn't exist anymore. The people, I remember before, when the Berlin Wall was in the stage of collapse, and there are demonstrations all along on the West Berlin side. Somebody asked Erich Honecker, how long did he think? Erich Honecker was the head of East Germany. And he was the one ordering the people with the guns on his side to shoot anybody who tried to get over the wall in either direction. Someone asked him, how long did he think the Berlin Wall was going to last? And his answer was unequivocal. He said, the Berlin Wall will last another 100 years. At the time he made that statement, the Berlin Wall didn't last another 100 hours. That's how fast societies can change. And most of the time, societies kind of snap right back. You get a new group of people with suits and ties on, and a whole bunch of lawyers in the room, and they figure out to do something or another, and everybody kind of goes back to sleep. And that's because there's not a group of people looking at the statements of the Buddha and George Washington. That's a pretty interesting stretch there. The people who are disciplined. Remember what Martin Luther King said: the disciplined nonconformists. Here in Portland, Oregon, we got lots and lots of nonconformists. In fact, people who think of nonconformity as an art style. Okay. But the issue is, who are the ones who are disciplined? and discipline for something more than their own enjoyment, their own um, wants and needs and desires. And as King said, uh, disciplined nonconformists who are dedicated to justice, peace, and brotherhood. And I would also add to that, dedicated to the planet, dedicated to being an integral part of a living planet. So we had 30 years to get our fecal matter together. We now have a lot less than that. We may not have 30 months. And so we should be asking ourselves some questions now. One of the biggest activities of the so-called environmental movement, the ecological movement, is working to get somebody else to do something. Get those folks over there to support environmental causes. Get these people to support environmental legislation. Get those people to do something. It's like, no, it's not. It's time for us to act. And what I'm going to be doing over the course of the next months before the 21st of March, 2024, is seeing what can be done to organize a group of people to be the stewards of this declaration of life, this declaration of holonic governance. That because this is not an American problem, this is a problem of human consciousness, that our declaration has to be spread around the world. Right now, I'm in communication with people in this country, obviously, you. I'm also in communication with people in South America, in Africa, in Europe, and in Asia to be the backbone of the birth of the nation of Gaia. That doesn't mean we have to kill all the other old nations. I mean, let's think about this. When the democracy movement went sweeping around the world and sweeping out all the old monarchies, all the old monarchies are still there. It's just that we don't pay any attention to them. They get to dress up in really cool clothes, and they get to march around, and they get to the people who choose to bow down to them are still bowing down to them. The people who don't choose to bow down to them just kind of like, okay, keep going. But we won't be paying attention to the people who have been creating the problem all along. We will be paying attention in a different way. For the next few days and weeks and months, we are going to be counting down to our declaration moment, which is going to be, it's going to be really cool. I don't know what's going to be. It's going to be cool because it's going to be happening in 4, 5, 10, 20, 30 different places on the planet. And you are being invited right now to a front row seat in how that's going to happen. We're making this up as we go along. And this live stream here is going to be a tool for us making this up as we go along. So maybe that's going to be the name of our live stream here, Countdown to Gaia. And as such, and I'm trying to discipline myself, I'm looking at my timer. As such, we will be introducing the various states, the various concepts, and the various actors, the people who are going to be instrumental in pulling this concept forward and pulling this concept into another realm, pulling it from an idea into our reality. On this, I wish us all well. I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm getting excited about this, which is really cool. And I will end with our inclusivity prayer that I'm going to ask that you pray or acknowledge with me. May all beings be well. May all beings be secure. May all beings be happy. That's something that we are going to be practicing as a group. And there's some more elements to it. And maybe the next time we get together, we'll talk about what those other elements are. Thank you. And I will talk to you at another point.